soulmates. Tell you to is pop, baby, I mean it, yes I do. Never had nobody loving me the way you do. Partners to soulmates.
What's up, partners? I'm Nayameek.
And I'm Cornetta.
And you're watching Group Partners to Soulmates. Today we're going to have a little story time. I'm going to tell you all about how we met and how we got to where we are.
So it's going to be like the full story, because I feel like we told this story before. Of course not on our YouTube just yet, but many people have heard the story, but we're going to go in depth.
So it began in 2017, fall of 2017. But we was in class, we were in the engineering class since August of 2017, but we didn't meet because the groups and the project that we were in together didn't take place till about September. September of 2017 is when we got put into a group together. It was about 5 of us. 7 of us. And
it was only 2 girls, so me and someone else. I remember the day that our professor assigned the groups.
And that's when I came up the name of the group, which was the Billionaires.
Oh yeah, he came up with the name because we was going around asking who want to come up with the name, and he just jumped. He was like, "We the Billionaires," and I'm like, "Okay, right. We're the Billionaires." But yeah, so when I first saw him, I was like, "Oh my goodness, he's so cute," in my head. But mind you, I was in a relationship. But when I saw him, that skipped my mind. But anyway, so we met in my dorm room. I mean, not my dorm room. We met in this opening in my dorm, and he was sitting across from me, and I was sitting across from him. And I remember we were just talking about what we're gonna do, the project we're gonna do, blase, and a group of my friends our college is in North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. I'm from Washington D.C. And when I first got to college, I linked up with a whole bunch of people from D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and we called ourselves the DMV group. So I was already, hanging out with people that was from the DMV. So basically, it's three boys came in there to bring me some food. They was my friends. They was from the DMV. They came to bring me some food, and the other girl in the group, she was like, "Oh, Netta, I see you," and I'm like, "Nah, it's nothing like that. I got a boyfriend." And then he goes, "Oh, you got a boyfriend?
You got a boyfriend
in DC?" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Yeah, I do."
Now, I don't know what made me ask that. It just, seeing some dude bringing her food, but was a quote-unquote friend. Then she had a boyfriend. I'm like, who is this girl? And who does she think she is? Got dudes bringing her food. I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
But anyway.
Yeah, so anyway, I think it was the same night or the next night, but I can't remember. But we ended up starting. We had one project to do, which was the first project. We had to make a manual. We still got the manual too, which is crazy. But make a manual of something to help an incoming student to the college. And we decided to do it in the other girl's dorm room. So we went in her dorm room. We went to take pictures and writing down what we're gonna do for the project. And I remember towards the end, me and the girl was talking about. Okay, I'm gonna give her a name because I'm not gonna say her name on here. I feel like that's that's not important. But it was me and Z. Me and Z was talking about the gym and working out and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I need to get in the gym. I need to work out. And then he goes, what'd you say about the gym? Do you remember what you said about the gym?
I probably said something along the lines of you trying to go to the gym? I don't know, what did I say?
Yeah, he said something about are you trying to go to the gym? I'm like, yeah, I need to go to the gym. He's like, come on, let's go now. It's 9 o'clock at night, and first of all, the gym, I think we don't close at 12 in the morning, but anyway, he let's go to the gym now.
I don't even remember saying that.
Yes, he
I know I was a gym rat though.
Yeah, he was.
Coming straight out of high school, I had a weightlifting class, so that's all I did. So going into college, that's all I like to do for my pastime. So I can definitely see me saying something like that.
Yeah, so he you want to go to the gym right now? And I'm looking at the time, and then I'm remembering that I was in a relationship at the same time. I'm like, not tonight, it's too late.
She was scared, that's all that was.
Of course I was scared, like I said, yeah, I was scared. But anyway, yeah, so I was not about to go because that would have been wrong. Just know that would have been wrong. So fast forward, some days go by.
But a dude can bring her food.
They was my friends. They literally was my friends. We had a whole group. They was my friends.
I'm her group partner.
What that mean?
You
But
gotta
I
to the
like,
gym.
but I thought that you was cute, so I can't go to the gym with you.
So it was only wrong on your behalf. I was literally trying to go to the gym.
That's funny. But anyway, so some days had passed. We had, I think, turned in a project, and we was just texting, like group texting and just texting one-on-one. It was just not like a conversation per se, but I would like ask him questions, and then he would not text me back. Like not text me back.
I wasn't
until,
interested. I wasn't interested in her.
He would not text me back until hours later. Okay, he would not text me back until hours later, and then like it would be to the point where I would double text him because I'm like, well, I just do not text me back, but I wouldn't make it seem like I'm double texting him. It would just be like a question, and then I would be like, oh yeah, I forgot, or like to ask another question, just to see if he's gonna respond. But I still remember to this day, that like I said, my DMV friends, they can vouch for this too. I remember telling them like, it's this boy that's my group partner, and I think that he's cute, and I think I like him, and yeah, and they knew that I was already in a relationship as well. So I get to asking the question of, you know, like, do you think that I should, you know, in my relationship, because I'm already in college and we're on 2 different levels, and you know, like we ain't near each other, and I feel like coming to college, you know, become a new person and you learn new things. So should I end what's back home? And majority of them was like, yeah, you should. You know, yeah, you probably gonna find somebody else. This is that. And then that's when I told him about him and how I thought I liked him. You know, he cute. And I get upset when he don't double text me. That's how I knew that I liked him. Like I would tell them this. And even to the point where I was like, that's gonna be my future husband.
We were still group partners at the time.
This was like days after the first meeting. That's the crazy part. And mind you, I was still in a relationship. Crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I would tell him stuff like that. And yeah, tell him stuff like that. And I'm gonna insert like 2 messages I got from like some of my DMV friends that they, to this day, they can vouch that like I manifest this and I spoke this to existence, and I knew that he was gonna be my husband. Cause yeah. Anyway, I ended up ending a relationship, and we were still, of course, still partners. We still had to meet up. We still had to do group work.
Just keep in mind, a lot of the beginning phases, because I wasn't into her in the way that she was into me, I wasn't remembering things the way she was remembering it.
Yeah, it was just
so
crazy.
in the beginning half, so from 2017, when we first met, to about December of 2017.
Yeah.
But after that, I can recall things.
Our second meeting, we was in the library, and I forgot, we were just talking, and I would like, you know how you like a boy, and you just want to like get smart with them, or you just want to like, you know, do stuff like that. And I think I had said something smart, and he had said something. I was like, you want to fight or something like that. I remember saying that. I was like, you want to fight?
I think I do remember that.
Yeah. But it's just funny because I was just saying stuff, trying to like, you know, but not trying to show it too much, because like, mind you, we just friends, we just group partners.
Yeah, I think I remember that, because then like when I would walk behind her chair, I would knock her chair or something.
Yeah.
It was something like that.
Yeah, then. Yeah. But anyway, another time I remember, this just, like I said, we just group partners, so I'm just leading up to the story of how we actually started talking. So another time we was in the library again, and this is when I was like in the midst of breaking it off, and I wasn't like feeling too well. He like asked me, you know, was I okay? And I remember showing him messages like, you know, like, I'm in the process of this, or I'm going through this, and he would help me. Like, he would give me like tips or like stuff to say or stuff to do. Like, he was basically helping me in my old relationship.
Not knowing her intentions.
Yeah.
Because still at the time, I didn't know she liked me. I sensed that she was like flirting, but I didn't know she liked me to the extent that she's saying right now. I didn't know anything about what she was telling her friends and stuff.
Yeah, of course you couldn't know, because yeah. But yeah, so he basically was helping me in my relationship without even knowing. because he was like telling me stuff and helping me out, giving me advice. It's just a bunch of back and forth, a bunch of me telling people I like him, a bunch of me trying to have a conversation with him. And I think from like the class was over in November, so like from November all the way to December, which was winter break, we didn't talk at all. But I still had his number, so I ended up texting him during winter break, and I was like, hey, you know, how you doing? How your winter break going? And you know, he ended up telling me how.
I'm just getting this pacifier.
Oh, okay. But yeah, he ended up telling me how it was going and stuff like that. And you know, we just had a little conversation, and we was just texting back and forth. And then it was to the point where I think we asked for each other Snapchat, and then we started snapping back and forth, and yeah, just stand up at night texting and snapping.
How did I get you on Instagram? Or did you find my Instagram?
No, that's you. We didn't get each other Instagram
To after Snapchat?
To after Snapchat, because I found out his Instagram from the other girl that was from Z. I found out his Instagram from her, but it was private, and I was like, I'm not about to follow him. Like, so we was snapping, we was texting, and it honestly just went from there. Like, towards the end of winter break, we was talking about how we was gonna link up, and you know, he's gonna come to my room. We can probably do homework together. We can chill. We can cool, and it went from there.
So first, over the winter break, she had posted a video on her Snapchat of her twerking and partying, and she had apologized to me out of nowhere, as if we were talking, or as if we, you know, like we were dating or something. She apologized for what reason, I don't know, but I seen that as something very valuable, because that means she had feelings for me that I didn't even know about, but it showed after that. And we was just vibing, like she said, through Snapchat.
When we got back from winter break, he ended up coming to my room, and we was just chilling. We did homework, and it was just that for that time. And then we was like, you know, we should do this again. It was cool. That was fun.
So the next time, my car broke down when I was on campus.
Oh yeah, okay. So mind you, he lived off campus, but he didn't live on campus. He lived at home with his mom.
Right. So when I was on campus with one of my homeboys, he stayed on campus at the time, and my car had broke down in the parking lot of his dorm, which was not too far from hers. It was like literally right across the street from her dorm. So we were still texting at the time, and I was telling her about it. And then, did you invite me over?
No.
Come over to your room?
No, that's when I had offered you food first.
She had offered me food, and I'm taking that into account as well. Now I kind of went into college with an ulterior motive to find someone. Like I kind of did want to get with a long-term soulmate, but I didn't know it would be her. But you know, everything happens for a reason, and I was literally taking everything into account. Because when I went into college, I was praying for a wife and asking that the Most High would send me one. So I was reading her as if she could be a potential wife. So I was taking everything into account. So now that was something that was a positive sign, you know, because we weren't together, we weren't talking, but she offered me food. And my friends even knew that I was texting her at the time, even to the extent where they thought we were talking because we texted so much. But the reason why I said we weren't talking is because the text messages weren't on like flirtatious type of things. It was just like friendly conversation, but it was regular conversation. Really on her behalf, because she would ask me so many different questions. She wanted me to tour her around Greensboro.
No, see, that's the crazy part. That happened in December. That happened before we even returned back to school.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying how regular and how different, how frequent your different questions were. But anyway, so they would kind of like pick on me like, oh, you about to go talk to Netta, you about to go see Netta. And I'm like, chill, you know, this is just, you know, somebody. At the time, I called her a shorty, so she just, you know, she's just a shorty. I'm just texting or whatever. But when she offered me food, I'm like, okay, boom. Now that's special. So then I ended up going to her dorm when she came back with the food, and my car still broke down. And one thing led to another. I ended up staying. Now I'm not even supposed to stay in her dorm because she had an all-girls dorm. I came signed in before the cutoff time, so they weren't even tracking that I was still in there. But with guidance, with protection from the Most High, They never even found out, never even came knocking on the door, none of that. So I was able to stay that night. We slept in the bed together. I'm talking about pants off. We both had undergarments still on, and we didn't do anything. As crazy as that sounds, it's our first time laying in bed together. We weren't talking at the time, but we laying in bed.
We was talking. What do you consider talking?
In her head, it was talking. In my head,
it was
regular day conversation.
It was talking. That's fine.
In my head, it was regular day conversation. I was just going with the flow and reading as I go, reading her as I go. So we were sleeping in the bed, and it literally was just that. We slept and we woke up the next day.
Like, we didn't kiss. We didn't do nothing. Literally nothing. And it wasn't even like we wasn't close, because it's a twin size bed.
We did hug up. We hugged up. Yeah.
It's a twin size bed. Like,
so you could say we spooned, but
yeah,
we ain't do nothing.
Oh,
and in the daytime, I had to like get up real early and try to sneak out before the RAs was supposed to come in for that day. And that is what really kicked off everything. Once I seen that we could both do that, that was like
this is January too. It has to be January. So mind you, December we was just snapping and texting. Came out January, and then honestly from there, like, things like he said, like, it's just like it started to move fast. Like, it was just moving. Like, we just kept coming to my room. Like, he came to my room like probably one more time just to do homework and stuff. I did his hair before. I did his hair a bunch of times, but I did his hair. Y'all see this boy? But I did his hair, and then I still remember the exact day I ended up going to his house. Like, he didn't come to my room because it started to get too late. Like, he was hanging out with his friends, and it got too late. So he was like, you can come to my house. And I was like, is your mom gonna be okay with that? And then he was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go to his house. I'm so scared. So I went to my my dorm. I packed the bag. You trying to pull my necklace? I went to my dorm and I packed the bag. And then he came to pick me up, and we went there. I still remember the exact date. It was January 19, 2018. And we didn't know this, but it honestly was a snowstorm coming. So
I knew it.
You knew?
I knew it was a snowstorm.
That is funny.
And she did too. That's why she packed the dang on bag.
Okay, so part of me don't remember that I remembered, but then I packed the whole bag. Like, I had multiple clothes. Like, I had all of that.
And so we was kind of planning on getting trapped.
But we didn't know it was gonna be that long. I was trapped in the house for 4 days.
Yeah. We didn't expect it to be that long, but that definitely was. It was lit. Like, that brought us really close, and I had to just
wait. See, it's, oh my goodness, it's so many, like, it's some busy pieces, because before I spent the night at his house, I remember he took me to get some food somewhere, and then he dropped me back in my dorm, and then, like, I was feeling him, and then I had asked him, I was like,
that didn't happen before that.
Listen, when I asked him, I kissed you. Yeah. And I was like, is it okay if I kiss you?
So
it's embarrassing.
So after sleeping together in the dorm room, we pretty much was talking then.
Yeah. And I was like, is it okay if I kiss you?
And I said, no. Because
no, I said, is it too soon?
Yeah. And I said, yeah, it'll be too soon.
And I was like, dang. And honestly, from that point, I could have just been like, dang, I'm not talking to him, like, forget him. Like, I could have did that. But I was like, okay, I respect it. So I was like, and I remember when to go tell my friends, my roommates, and I was like, I asked him, can I kiss him? And he was like, nah, it's too soon. And it was like, girl, what? You what? Like, you know how girls are. It was like, what? You can't kiss. What? Gotta do this? What? Girl, you crazy. And I'm like, I still like this dude, so I'm still trying, you know. But yeah, so fast forward to January 19, when I actually stayed at, bless you, when I actually stayed at his house, and then you can tell him what happened at your house.
So at my house, we did the do.
I was gonna say that. That's funny. I was gonna say he actually kissed me. Like, I didn't have to ask, I didn't have to kiss him. He kissed me.
You gotta wait till the mood is right. You can't be asked to kiss. Like,
I know, cause I always wanted it to be like, don't you know how like you got your little sneaky link, whatever y'all call it, and then he drop you off, and y'all, you know, y'all just in the talking stage with y'all cooling, and then you kiss him before when you get out the car, and be like, all right, see you later. Like I was thinking of that in my head, like I had that image of like, I'll see you later, and you just walk out, but that didn't happen until like later down.
But yeah, like she said, we went from second to third to home run all in one day.
Yeah, and it just started when my fast to the point where March, we on our spring break we went to Atlanta together. Like we did a whole week in Atlanta. We got an Airbnb. We caught the bus, and we stayed in Atlanta for a whole week, just us two. Like
I came into college looking for a wife. When I started getting the signs from her, we was just moving quick with everything. So we wasn't playing.
Yeah, but it wasn't like moving quick, like with no meaning behind it. Like it was like we moving quick because we feeling
very
each other.
mature,
like,
yeah,
very mature.
It wasn't like it didn't feel like puppy love.
Yeah.
Especially because if we can lay in the bed and not take it to the next level, we didn't rush things.
Yeah.
Like she said, she wanted a kiss and I didn't want a kiss.
Right.
We were just waiting for everything to feel right.
Yeah, and it started to feel right. Like everything was just falling into place. March, we went to Atlanta with each other for a week. April, I went to Atlanta with his whole family. Like, yeah, and we just kept seeing each other. I kept hanging out, just staying at his house, and I was at his house more than I was in my dorm. Like, I'm like, what did I pay for?
And then it even got to a point where she ended up living in my house for a little bit because of dorm room expenses.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, stuff started to move fast, and it hit March, and it hit April, and then May was when the semester ended, and I remember he decided to go to summer school, and I decided to go to summer school as well. So I had to get an apartment because I hadn't like started to like actually stay with him yet. So I got an apartment for that summer.
He wants you anyway.
Okay, so yeah, so I ended up getting an apartment for summer school, and he was staying at the apartment with me. Let's go to when we first said I love you to each other. This was like May. And
wow, yeah, we did skip that.
Yeah, this was May, and I remember like but we was, doing stuff, and I remember like slipping it out, but I was like, no, it's not time. I'm scared. So then I was like, I love this. Like I changed it to this instead of you because I was scared. But then like, later on that night, how did it happen? Did I ask you if you love me? I think I said, do you love me or something like that? Yeah. So I was like, do you love me? And then he just said yes. Like he didn't say yes, I love you. So I'm like, okay, yes. Yes, what? But then I think it ended up coming out.
By me, right?
Yeah, I think he ended up saying I love you, and I was like, play too. But yeah, so this is May. Then here comes June, and that's when he asked me if I wanted to marry him. I think it was actually June 28th. June 28th, he asked me if I wanted to marry him. Why you do that?
I did it because I was speaking to an old head. And because she knew I had a girlfriend, and she suggested that.
Girlfriend, that sounds so weird. Like,
right. So she suggested that she was like, and it was a black lady. So yeah, she asked if I loved her. I said yes. She said, well, why don't you ask me to marry you? I said I didn't have the money for a ring, and she said that I didn't need the money for the ring, pretty much. And this is an idea that I never heard of, and because you grow up hearing that. What you see in movies, that you gotta get on hands and knees, you gotta have a nice diamond ring, you gotta have a stable job. He just excited about hearing how he came about, that's right. All. But so yeah, I'm hearing about this traditional lifestyle, the way things are supposed to be. So this was a new idea for me, but she said I didn't need a ring and I could just propose and then promise her that I'd get her a ring later.
And if I loved him, then I wouldn't care about the ring. That's what she said.
Right. And like I said, I was praying to the Most High prior to going to college to send me a wife. So, like I said, I was putting her through like a trial and error, and I was reading her, feeling her out, seeing if she was the one. So I felt like that was even, and at the time I did love her. So I felt like this was a sign from the Most High to go ahead and do what I had to do, and that she was indeed my soulmate and the one I was supposed to be with. So I took that into strong consideration. I went and prayed on it. And then the next time I seen her, I got on my hands and knees. I told her like a little spiel about how I loved her and I didn't feel this way before her. And that, you know, I'd give her a ring later. And she said yes.
And honestly, nobody knew this. Like, we didn't even say that we was getting married until 2019. So after that, it's just like things just started happening.
We started to treat the relationship as if we were engaged, as if we were going to get married somewhere. Yeah. So I was a lot harder on her. I'm not even going to lie to you. I started to treat her as if she was a fiance and like we were going to be married. So little things that I didn't like, I was kind of nitpicky. And she would probably say I was mean, but it was just certain stuff. Because I was at the point where I was ready to break up off certain things. So it was like, if I'm going to marry you, like, certain things got to stop.
Yeah.
You got to be certain ways.
Like, he wanted it to be perfect in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted everything to just be perfect. Like, this, that. I'm like, I mean, like, first of all, we only been, like, might as well say knowing each other for this amount of time. So, like, it got to move slow.
It's not even like I was trying to get her to be a wife to that extent. Because we're still growing. I wasn't perfect. I knew we was gonna grow together once we got married, but it's just like I wanted that validation. Like, I need to know that once we get married, I won't be unhappy. I won't regret my decision because we were doing it very early. We got engaged within 6 months of dating, so I needed to be 100% sure that this was the one, and that I was not making a mistake. So that's why I kind of was the way I was. Not validating how harsh I could have been. I was ready to break up off little things. That to that extent.
Like an argument, like he ready to just be like, look.
Yeah.
because he didn't say this, but he had also was in a prior relationship too, which was like crazy. So the next one, he just knew like I'm not putting up with nothing. Like we argue about stupid stuff. Like. He ain't want to put up with nothing because he had already dealt with it. Anything
that was a remote sign to what I dealt with, I'm like, oh no. I done been through this before. I ain't going through it again. But it was nothing nowhere near what I went through. It's just anything remotely close. Oh no, I can't do it. But it was minute stuff, as you can see. We're married today. So after that, I ended up proposing again after like a few months, but by this time I had like a little promise ring, just a little something, just to have to take the place of an engagement ring.
And that was in December. That was like for Christmas, like when we celebrated Christmas, because we actually don't celebrate Christmas anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So got me a promise ring. Well, my shit engagement ring.
Yeah, it was the engagement ring, but it wasn't a traditional engagement ring.
I mean, it's no such thing as traditional.
You're right. You're right. You're definitely right about that.
Yeah. So he got me an engagement ring, and like after that, literally, like we was just like always together. We was like, I think that's the point where I moved into his house. Like I stayed. I basically lived there, like had all my stuff there.
No, for real, she really was living there.
Yeah, and then it was to the point where I actually did live there. Like I didn't even have a dorm room at all. Like I didn't pay for a dorm room, and it actually saved me because, like I said, I'm out of state, going to a school in North Carolina, and I had to pay monthly to go to school. But me staying with him, actually, I didn't have to pay nothing, and I got a refund.
Yep.
So that was helpful. Shout out to his mama.
Word. Over the summer, we was working at a YWCA.
Yeah, we was.
So she applied to the YWCA. I just went with her to her interview.
And well, first of all, the one that hired us, she was also an Aggie alum.
Yeah.
So shout out to her if you're watching this video, because she lit.
She had the interview. It was her job initially, and I just went with her.
Yeah.
And then she ended up, I guess because we were all Aggies, she asked if I wanted a job.
Yeah, because I had got it. She was like, okay, you good, you got the job. And then asked if he needed a job. And he was like, yeah. But she was like, I'm really not supposed to do this. You know, you're not supposed to hire people that's together, blase, blase. But we was like, we're just not going to tell nobody. Like, we kept it like nobody knew we was together. And mind you, he was the only guy that worked there. So it's a bunch of females, and he's the only guy. And I'm with him, mind you.
And I ain't ugly.
Yeah, and he's not ugly, and he's the only guy. I keep saying that. So it was a bunch of, you know, females, and I just got to sit back and act like we're not together and that we just know each other. Because they would ask us how we know each other. You know, we was in class together. We go to the same school. Yeah, just know I had to, like, sit back and just let some things occur when, yeah.
But eventually they started to catch on because we talked to each other. We tried to make it look cordial in front of them, but I guess they just, you know, picked up on energy. Like, we were just too comfortable around each other.
Yeah, but the kids thought that we was brothers and sisters. So they ain't really, some of them, the little older ones, kind of like speculated too. Yeah. But like, a lot of them said like, y'all look alike, you know, y'all brothers and sisters. They would act stuff like that. So
in other words, we just looked comfortable around each other. No matter if we didn't flirt or do anything, if we just tried to keep it cordial, it just looked like we were too comfortable. And then we rode together, so the other co-workers would see that we would go home together in the same car. So they started.
But yeah, they started to speculate, and they started to whisper between each other and rumors and asking questions, and to the point where I'm like,
we had to go. We had to first let them know.
We had a meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Because the meeting was about us, because they would talk about it, you know, like early together.
And we didn't let them know. Actually, the boss ended up letting it out.
No, but she barely even let it out. So in the meeting, she was just talking about how, like, you know, that's not y'all business. This is how she said, like, it's not y'all business if they together or not. Stop talking about them. This is that. If I got questions, I can ask them. And then that was it. And so we never confirmed that we was together. But once we left, I think they started. We was following. We followed some people on Instagram, so they saw it.
Simultaneously, we was getting hired as RAs for A&T. So we both got the job as RAs. That's when I ended up staying on the dorm for the first time. This is my sophomore year. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. You
saying the all boys dorm?
I didn't like all boys dorm. I didn't like I like the responsibility. I like being able to, like, kind of like mentor the freshmen and everything. But it just got annoying because having to stay there on certain nights, because most nights I wanted to stay at home with her. And when we was on shift, I had to be there all night, and I had to, you know, had a little walkie-talkie, had a little phone. I can't remember, was it a phone or a walkie-talkie?
It was a phone.
It was a phone, so if something was to go down or something was to happen, they could call the phone. And you know, you're supposed to be on call pretty much all night. I ain't like having to be there. I wanted to be at home still. I really just wanted the money. And staying there came a part of it, because how you gonna know what they're doing around the dorm if you're not there?
Yeah, we needed money at this time, because like we together, we want to do stuff. Yeah. And it was definitely a great experience. Like I would never forget that experience being an RA. Like it was fun. Yeah. I never did anything like that. I never thought I would do anything like that, because I've always been an introvert. I didn't like to talk to people as much. People I don't really know. So it was definitely a great experience, but we definitely needed the money. Like it was a good amount of money that we was making that was like helping a lot.
And at one point it was the RA job and the YWCA check coming
like we would go to the YWCA when we don't have work at as an RA, and we would go back and forth. And it was times, like you said, we wanted to be with each other, so like we would sneak in each other's dorm. And he had an all boys dorm. I had an all girls dorm too. But I'm RA, so you got your own room. So like sometimes I would like stay in his room. I'm not supposed to. And then he would stay in my room. But yeah.
Or we'd go back home to my house.
We'll go to his house.
Leave the dorms all together. But we ended up getting fired from the job.
Both of us.
Because our grades dropped, the GPA dropped below the threshold. I'm talking about like maybe like a little point under a decimal point, not even a whole point.
Yeah, like 2-3 decimal points under.
Yeah. So we lost the job. But everything happened for a reason.
Everything happened for a reason. But once we lost that job, we didn't have no other job. So he grew up working. Like he'd been working since he was 16. He had jobs. I think he had jobs leading up to the YWCA job. Yeah. He ended up quitting that. And then he had the YWCA. Then he had RA. So he didn't have to work those other jobs. But he had jobs. He knew about getting his own money and not having to. I, on the other hand, I didn't really never had a real job. Like, I worked at Burger King when I was 16 for like a week or two. I quit. I had like leadership jobs. Like I had this leadership program. It was a job, you get paid for it. And I never had a real job. Still to this day, which is so crazy. I never had a real job. The YWCA was real, but I only stayed there for 2 months.
So not a real job for a long period of time.
Yeah, never had a real job for a long period of time. So yeah, we was broke, and it was to the point where he got refund checks and stuff. So we was spending up the refund checks, like we was spending up the refund checks. We was living off refund checks, and mind you, at this point, I'm staying at once they fired us. They fired us before we could do. We only did 1 semester, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we only did 1 semester of RAs because they fired us before the next semester, and that's when I had to move in with him because I couldn't afford to stay on the campus. Mm-hmm. And mind you, we still broke, so we like scraping up money here and there. We doing DoorDash. We freaking selling clothes, selling out shoes.
We say broke, not to say that either one of our families were broke and that we couldn't eat at home. But we ended up converting to vegetarian, so we had specific eating guidelines and things that we wanted to eat. So,
but his mother would make us like our own vegetarian meal, along with making the house a whole meal too. So shout out to her again, because that was lit. But
I'm just the type to not want to just kind of like pride. And I was getting to a point where I felt like I was old enough and I wanted to kind of fend for myself. So. And especially if I got somebody living there too. I didn't want to do that to my mom, even though I know she wouldn't mind. So that's why we say kind of broke and fend for ourselves and what we had to do to get money and eat. But yeah, that was that. So I just got tired of scrambling around for money, trying to sell things to get money. I felt as if we was like homeless, but we weren't. You know,
we was poor. That's what it was.
Not even. We was young. We just wanted money, more money than we needed at the time.
Because we didn't need it. I mean, we college students. Like in college,
we could have ate at the cafeteria. We could have ate for free, but we had our own specifications of how we wanted to live life at that time.
Together, like it was like
as a family, as a unit.
Yeah.
So, and plus, because we was getting married soon, and I definitely didn't want to get married and have like a home within a home. I knew that I wanted to get us a home. I liked the experience that we had that summer staying in an apartment together.
That was lit.
So, I knew I wanted to get that again, but real time.
Yeah.
So, getting a job was necessary. Getting a real job was necessary. I started applying for different jobs that was more reputable. I didn't want to work another part-time job. I didn't want to work another, anything job. I wanted to have a job that looked good to the public and look good on my resume, but I also wanted to pay good money enough to put us in an apartment and take care of both of us. But that was hard to find, especially if I was in school still. Everything that I could do had to be part-time, and if it was part-time, it wasn't going to pay enough. So the next thing was the military.
And how that came about is we was just, riding around, upset, sad, we don't got no money, like what we gonna do, we need to find a job. And we was applying for jobs, but like he said, it wasn't nothing that he was interested in. And me on the other hand, I wasn't getting hired because I didn't have no experience for real. So they wasn't hiring me. But yeah, so one day randomly, we both got this text, but he got a text from a army recruiter. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, hey, I have a you can get a part-time job and you can make money, you can still get your education, blase. And we looking at this message like, oh my goodness, I think you should meet up with him.
We thought it was a sign.
It was a sign.
I mean, it was a sign. Yeah.
It was a sign.
Everything happens for a reason. So yeah, we took that sign. Okay, maybe the military is a thing. So I ended up talking to a recruiter in Greensboro, and he pretty much sold me. They do what they do best, which is to recruit. And he told me all the rundown. It's gonna be a 9-to-5 job. It's so easy. You just show up, right place, right time, right uniform. It's a piece of cake. Just go to basic training, excel in AIT, and you're gonna be making money and taking care of your wife. Like, you love her, you ain't got no money right now. It's the best thing for you. That's what it felt like. That's what it sounded like.
At the time as well, this is around, like, the semester ended again. So that first semester of sophomore year, we was RAs. The second semester, we wasn't. That's when we had no money. May, the semester ended, and I ended up getting pregnant. And yeah, I was pregnant, and he was talking, you know, back and forth with the recruiter, like, well, you got a baby on the way, like, it would be the best thing for you. At first, he decided to not do it anymore because I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he didn't want to do it anymore because he didn't want to be away from the baby. So he like, I'm not doing it. So out of nowhere, I end up losing the baby.
Right.
Again, everything happens for a reason.
Which is why, if any of you follow us on Instagram, which most of you probably do, that's why we refer to him as the rainbow baby, which is a baby that comes after losing a baby.
Yeah.
And
baby after the storm.
Right, a rainbow after the storm.
Okay. So, yeah, so I ended up losing the baby again. Everything happens for a reason. So, him going was back on the table. And we had like realized that it was, you know, we had to get married so that we could get all the benefits and so that
she could move with me whenever we PCS or wherever I went, she could come with me.
Okay.
Now, I almost didn't do it because I don't know what I was thinking, but whenever he told me I had to cut my hair, that was a deal breaker for me because at the time I was starting my lock journey. We started it together, our lock journey. I was about to convert to Rastafarian. I was into it heavy. I'm talking about all the Bob Marley music, 24/7. I was really into it heavy. And when he told me that, it kind of broke my heart, but because I kind of identified with my hair at the time, my hair and my facial hair. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I ended up making that sacrifice. And after that, it was go time because now that my hair gone, like I gotta go. And we ended up going. Mm-hmm. I ended up going to basic training.
We got married first. Yeah.
First, yeah, we got married 10 days before I went to basic training. Yeah. August 10th, 2019. And then August 20th, I went to basic training. So in basic training, I wasn't really happy, but her letters kept me afloat. I explained to her, even in letters, I didn't really like it there. I didn't like the control. I already knew the type of person I was. I wasn't going to like the regulation, the rules, the yelling in your face. But it definitely built me, it made me stronger. It made me look at people a lot differently. And I got through basic training. Then AIT, I had my phone back. So I was able to really express things to her and how I felt. I just knew early on that it wasn't for me, but I was just keeping it going because it was paying us. We was able to get out of debt because at the time, when we didn't have no money, we started getting behind in our phone bill. Credit card. Like we pretty much started getting in debt. And we got out of debt. She was able to she told me she wanted a dog. I was able to get her a dog. Still got the same dog. She's downstairs right now, no. So we was able to get a dog, and it started to feel like we was beginning that family, that small family. And that's what kept me going. I got through AIT, and then they told us we was going to Hawaii. That's another thing that got me kind of excited. Okay, we're going to Hawaii. It was a little ordeal actually trying to get her to come with me because even though he married, she wasn't in my orders to PCS with me, so I was going to have to PCS by myself. I had to go back and forth. Luckily, I had some black drill sergeants that really liked me, and they was vouching for me and really like putting in work to make sure that I got her put on my order so she can come with me. So she ended up coming with me. I actually did hometown recruiting, which is where you, instead of going straight to your duty station, you get to go back home to your hometown and work with your recruiter. But being that me and my recruiter was cool with each other, he was a cool dude. He let me pretty much just sign, check in, and go home. So that for that whole 2 weeks, I was just staying home, finishing up packing, and just getting mentally ready to go. And once we finally got done packing, it was time to go. That was it. That was all she wrote. We ended up flying across the country to Hawaii.
Yep. And got to Hawaii. We didn't have nothing, like no furniture, nothing. We only had a blow-up bed.
Ground zero.
Like, so we... Yeah.
Got it out the mud.
Yeah.
Put everything on credit. We ended up paying off all the furniture that we got, paid off. I'm talking about 3 bedrooms, guest bedroom. We got 2 living rooms,
TV,
flat screen TV, everything paid off. All praises to the Most High. But we got it done, and now it's been 2 years in the military, and I'm ready to get out.
I'm ready for him to get out as well.
I signed a 5-year contract. I did 2 years, so with the way things is going, I got about 3 more years left. My intent when I got in was to do green and gold, and if you don't know about that, it's really where you're supposed to go through your ROTC program at your college, but the coordinator said told me I'll make a better officer, which is pretty much like a supervisor of managers. So like a CEO, if you want to say, in the military. And I was going to do that, but then I realized, or he told me that I'd make a better officer if I joined and went enlisted first, so that's why I went enlisted first. But once I got enlisted, I got wind, I heard about the Green and Gold program where I could do it through while I was enlisted, and I can just transfer over and go. They'll send me to go back to school, pay for me to go back to school full time. And once I got here and tried to do it, I guess I did it too soon. I didn't have enough time in the military, so that right there didn't go as planned.
But again, everything happens for a reason, because in the midst of him trying to sign up for it, that's when we had found out I was pregnant.
Right.
And we wanted to go. We was going to go to Virginia, and we wanted to go. We wanted to be close to family.
I had got all the paperwork, got it signed off and everything, and then they just denied me. Even though I got a waiver. You can get a waiver for your time in service if you didn't make the 2-year cutoff or the 18-month cutoff by the time of the application. And so it was possible. I exceeded all the requirements. So I was a very good candidate, but everything happened for a reason. So we took that as a sign, and then she ended up being pregnant. And we realized it would have been a hassle anyway with her being pregnant. She would have still been pregnant when it would have been time for me to go ahead and move to Virginia, which is because we was planning to go to VSU. That's the school that I was choosing. Yeah. So that would have been way too much. Especially she couldn't even do it being that late in the pregnancy, because they would have been sending me around July, and he was due in July.
Oh yeah, right.
So that wouldn't even worked out unless I would have took leave or did some extra stuff. Who knows how that would have went down, and that's why it didn't happen the way it did.
And I also think it didn't happen because like I feel like we needed to do this on our own for as long as we could, like raise him and.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and then if we would have did the green and gold and had to get shipped off, we wouldn't have been able to have a home birth, and that's something we really wanted to do. Yeah,
like that wasn't a no. Like I wanted to have a home birth. I've been through that, so we definitely wouldn't have been able to have a home birth. So I'm glad that we actually stayed and we did. But now, where we are today, we have our son. There's a lot going on in the world, and we're just trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, praying on what's next.
But we have a lot of things in store as far as like starting a business, which will be coming very soon, so stay on the lookout for that. And we hope that we actually have a lot of support with that, because it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah. Speaking of support, if you haven't watched the birth story or the birth documentary, make sure you check that out. It's definitely something you don't want to miss, especially if you want to be on the longest journey with this family. I feel like you should see how the family started.
Yeah, right.
With that being said, that is the end of the video. We thank you all for watching this video. I know it's kind of long, our longest video yet. But we thank you all for watching. We think it's necessary. If you're going to watch this family, you should know how it began from the very beginning, and also how it became a tribe. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your post notifications so you can know the next time that we post and every time that we post. And we thank you guys again. See you in the next video. Peace. I am hot like a mug.
You got some war pants.
Like my balls are sweating.
I'm gonna put that in the video.
Now you meet, will you have this woman to be your wife?
I do.
Quinella, will you have this man to be your husband?
I do.
I allow me to keep on to know like to have day 4. Prepared for work, direction for pool. That's it. That ain't nothing. The love and to chill. And there too, I flush my face.
I call that to be my husband, so having to release this page for that
This ring right here is open in the flesh for my concept faith and my love.
By the authority vested in me by the state of North Carolina, now declare your husband and wife.
Yo, so she ain't came on in how long?
Like 5 days.
It's been like 35 days, right?
Oh yeah, 36 days, my cycle.
36 days since she had her last cycle. Normally, she ain't, when we take the pregnancy test, she's been late before. Normally, it's not pregnant, right? She's been feeling some symptoms. Her boob's been hurting. She's been irritated, weak, weight gain, some extra stuff now. She's pregnant.
You're lying. Let me see. Babe,
Hold on. Let me show them first. Let me show them.
Okay, I'm surprised. You're lying. Stop lying all the time. Give me the key.
She think I'm lying. Let me see if I can flip. If I could flip the camera, I would.
Babe, let me see. You play too much. Why are you recording this? Bitch, stop playing! Stop playing.
Group partners, the soulmates. Group partners, the soulmates. Never found my homie, lover, and my best friend. Never wanna lose you, I don't want this love to end. Group partners, the soulmates. Group partners, the soulmates. Never found my homie, lover, and my best friend. Never wanna lose you, I don't want this love to end. Group partners, the soulmates. Group partners, the soulmates. Tell them to his part, baby, I mean it, yes I do. Never had nobody loving me the way you do. Group partners, the soulmates.